This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And I'm Spy.
And Spy, since you don't work for the CIA or, you're not Mission Impossible, what do you actually do?
What I actually do is all of those things. Plus, I make YouTube videos where I review movies, make analytical, video essays. Sometimes I talk about larger parts of media like musicals, or I haven't done video games yet, but I plan to. I also do character redesigns, and I always do a speed paint of art related to what I am talking about in the background.
And you got to go check out her videos redesigning Marvel's characters, but also her Star Wars rant and everything else. It's all good. It's all good. Entertaining and informative. If you haven't watched the movies or the genre of movie in general, you'll learn a lot. So go check out her stuff. youtube.com/SpyV STUDIOS. And no, I'm not just doing this for brownie points to get the judge to pick me over Will. I am doing it because I genuinely like her content.
No.
Aw, thank you. It won't matter anyways.
All right. But yeah, as always, go subscribe to her and subscribe to us as well. If you aren't subscribed to us and you somehow stumbled on this video, do it. And like the video before you even watch it. That way, if you don't like it, you'll forget to unlike the video. All right.
I like this plan, yes.
So today is Face-Off Fridays, or Face-Off Fridays. I don't know, whatever.
I still think we need a cool animation where like our faces swap or something.
Whatever. SpyV is the judge, or Spy as she calls herself, and Will and I are the contestants. So the premise, the prompt today is: do games like Overwatch and Fortnite actually need sequels or 2.0s or whatever you want to call them? And SpyV is going to pick who's going first, and then we will state which side of the aisle we lean on for this particular topic. So go ahead and pick a person.
I want to hear from Will.
Every time.
Okay. Will.
I had a couple weeks that wasn't first, so I feel better. There was 6 weeks in a row where I was always first, but I had a couple off, so it's good.
There you go. So which side of the aisle are you on this one, Will?
I want to say no.
I'm going to say yes. Like I could say something
Chris,
else.
Because otherwise we're going to be, on the same team. Not much of an argument there.
All right. So now, since you picked Will to go first, he will have to go first and state what his opinion is and why and defend it. And then you'll have a chance to ask him one question. I can object if it's not relevant to the actual debate being had. So if Will says something about Minecraft, and I'm like, now wait a second, this has nothing to do with the topic, then I can say, I object, and you're going to tell me I'm wrong, and you'll keep it in the argument. But that's
now
fine.
I have to bring up Minecraft just so I can weave it in there, Chris.
But yeah, so he'll do his, then I'll do mine, you'll ask me a question, and then we state our closing arguments in the opposite order. So I will have to state my closing argument first, giving Will the final chance to, undo everything I've done. And then you'll make a decision, and you'll either say you agree with one of us, or you disagree with both of us, and here's why, or you agree with both of us, and here's why, and then you throw the case out. So that's all it is.
This is a yes or no question. It'd be really hard to disagree with both of you.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, sometimes the judge is very creative.
Yes. Hopeless Peaches disagreed with both of us, but also agreed with both of us. So
you could also agree or disagree with one of us, and then be like, "Well, but your argument's terrible." So I'm actually going to explain why you're right, but your argument sucks.
Exactly. Okay. That did
happen. That would be fun.
All right. Well, go ahead.
All right. So the prompt once again is: do games like Overwatch and Fortnite actually need sequels? I'm going to say no. And it's because games like that are not iterative. They're, continuously evolving. So you have the baseline game, you can buy into it, or sometimes it's a free game, and then there's just constant updates. And with a model like that, the revenue is not coming from each individual game. It's coming from whatever new content or DLC that you are potentially purchasing or grinding for in the game. So this is something similar to like League of Legends or, other MMO type games, which again, the people are not buying into these games necessarily for visuals, so you don't have to worry about updating visuals for each generation. And because the core gameplay is so much fun, and because it's ever evolving, so you can constantly add in new heroes, you can rotate out heroes, you can add in new weapons, new skins, new events. There really isn't a need for a traditional sequel because, again, why would you fix something that or change something potentially, or completely lose an audience to have a sequel, and they're already buying into the game that they already have. So if you just add in those content updates, especially now with everything's already online and it's so easy to download DLC, unlike games in the past where you had to buy each individual game. And it's really easy just to add in the DLC. You already have the game engines you already created. You already have the tools ready to go. Teams are already familiar with the engine and all the tools going into the game. So as far as being cost effective, it makes far more sense just to release extra skins, weapons, heroes than it does to actually create an entire new game and potentially alienate the entire population of players that you already have. And then bringing in Minecraft, like I said, I had to. Minecraft is a good example of this, is that really you can just keep adding content to that game. You don't really have to worry about creating Minecraft 2. There has been some spin-offs which have gone in different directions, but none of them have hit as well as that original Minecraft game. And there's a reason why Minecraft from 10 years ago looks essentially the same as the Minecraft of today. And it's because it's one of those games that you could just add in new content and people will buy those DLC packs, and you don't have to worry about buying the Minecraft 2. Yeah, I think I'll end there. I'm kind of rambling now.
SpyV, do you have a question for Will?
Oh, let's see. So, what would your response be if creators of a video game wanted to include something in a DLC that just wouldn't work mechanically with the base game that they initially created? What would you then suggest? Would one
spin-off
be or have to do?
I think a spin-off would work, just like I was talking with Minecraft. So the Minecraft Dungeons doesn't really necessarily work with the baseline game. So you can still have the mainline game going, and then you can still pursue those extra options and creativity that the developers might have without necessarily alienating or changing too much the base formula. And this is something that happens in beer all the time. So I know this has nothing to do with this conversation, but usually when you have a big beer company, you have these brewmasters. They have to constantly pump out Budweiser. They can't change the flavor. However, they can experiment and have something different. So you're not making Budweiser 2. You're making Shock Top, for example. True story. And that the guy who made Shock Top went off to make Urban Chestnut beer to another St. Louis brewery. But go on.
I guess it's my turn, unless SpyV has anything further.
No, let's hear what Chris has to say.
Okay, let's just put it this way, Will. Fundamentally, your argument has a giant flaw, all right?
Let me see. What is it?
Well, think
Objection.
about this. How do you make a current-gen game look next-gen without upgrading the engine or visuals significantly such that it would almost make sense to call it a sequel? How do you get new players into a game that has fundamentally, completely finished ranked playlists? At some point, people are so good at this game that new players have no chance at being the best at this game. The playlists are overrun by people who have been playing this game for 5 to 10 years. I'm not saying the sequel has to come quickly or early, but at a time when next gen systems are coming out, I fully expect Overwatch 2. I fully expect Fortnite 2. These games are being redeveloped, redesigned for a next gen system, and the way to signify that from a marketing standpoint is to call it 2.0. If you don't call it 2.0, it's just Fortnite getting ported to a new system, and what's the fun in that? How do you sell that to people? You can't. It's just still Fortnite. It's just still Overwatch. When Minecraft went full-blown, multi-platform, people can play it together across the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, PC, Steam, iOS, Android. It became Minecraft Bedrock Edition. It got up-resed graphics. It was a new version of Minecraft that was rebuilt from the ground up to work on everything. And so to signify that, they called it Minecraft Bedrock Edition. And on my Xbox One, I have Minecraft Xbox One Edition. I have Minecraft, just Minecraft. It's essentially the 2.0 of Minecraft. It's the new version. The original Minecraft is not very accessible. It's Java Edition, and that looks significantly different from what we have nowadays. So I think there's a place for sequels to these giant games. And that's really what you need. You need to signify from a marketing standpoint what's different and why this is the 2.0. You can't just give it a facelift and call it 2.0 because it could be the same engine, could be the same this, that. Marketing tells me you have to give a reason why 2.0 makes sense, but it should be there. And from a marketing standpoint and a business strategy and from a player leaderboard strategy, you would almost want to start over from scratch, change some mechanics so that people relearn the system, learn a new system, and can have an opportunity to succeed at the new game. Whereas Fortnite is so saturated at this point, and they change it consistently, but the leaderboards don't really change because the mechanics are so similar that unless you're like, naturally a god at Fortnite, you're probably not going to climb the leaderboards. So I do think fundamentally a sequel to a game like Fortnite or Overwatch has a place in the game industry, unlike Madden. But that's another story. Sequels for these games should exist, and that's why. So, do you have a question for me?
I don't know. I don't think I can really think of a good one for you. Yeah, I think you said enough for me to have a decent opinion on all of it.
All right, here's my closing argument then. Overwatch 2, I'm marketing this crap, all right? Go buy the 2.0 because it's 2.0, right? So it definitely sells because it's got the Overwatch name. And from a marketing standpoint, it's way easier to say, go buy 2.0 than it is to say, hey, go buy this game you've already bought 6 times. Skyrim. Skyrim 2 would probably sell like bonkers, but Skyrim, probably not. It probably still will, but I'm using a bad example.
That's a terrible
example. People will rebuy Skyrim every single time it gets released. But Skyrim VR, that definitely helped sell some VR headsets. And then, for example, a sequel to Fortnite will probably sell like zonkers. So might as well capitalize on it, create a brand new Fortnite, and then you could support both versions for a period of like 2 to 3 years and make money twice. There's zero reason not to make this sequel. And I think if you change up the mechanics, it might actually be more entertaining to watch too, because people would be relearning everything, and from the ground up, it would be a completely different player base that would be good at the game. So there's my argument. Fortnite 2.0, Overwatch 2.0. I won't ever play them, but they have a place in the gaming industry.
Yeah, my closing argument is think about how many times a sequel has just flopped because it just changed too much and it didn't resonate with the audience that the first game had. I mean, a great example of this is Dragon Age 2. Not necessarily a bad game by itself, but in comparison to Dragon Age Origins, it was pretty terrible and not well received. So, with these kind of games, you don't necessarily have to go for that sequel because, again, it's an ever-evolving game. It's a game that you can continuously change. And as you're going along, like with Rainbow Six Siege, you can change the overall feel of the game too. So you can go from more of a realistic setting to more of a sci-fi setting, and you can kind of experiment that way, and without having to change and have a second game. Again, taking that risk of changing your install base. You already have the install base with the original game, so if you switch it up and have a second game, you may not recapture all of that, and it may not do as well. So, yeah, that's my closing argument.
Ooh, boy. I kind of agree with both of you.
See,
to
I
some
told
extent.
you it's possible.
Well, I knew I wasn't going to just be able to disagree with both of you outright, but I kind of agree with both of you because I feel like the arguments boil down to it's an entirely case-by-case basis and exactly what the developers want to do with the sequel. Because if it's like, if you could present me a strong enough case that this would be a sequel and it's similar enough and yet different to actually warrant a whole separate game and a whole $60 price tag, then we can have that conversation. But if you're going to show me something that would work so much better as just like a DLC or a spin-off, then that's probably the direction you want to go. So, kind of agree with both of you. I think an Overwatch or a Fortnite, I would say an Overwatch sequel would work better than a Fortnite sequel because Overwatch has like lore and a storyline that I could see being incorporated more into an actual separate game versus, and I know there's Fortnite lore, like I know it's there, but Fortnite kind of has its thing where it just kind of has its seasons, and it has like a different thing every season. And I don't know if it would be super popular if they changed the basic battle royale formula, which would probably be weird if they just did Fortnite 2, but it's still a battle royale. That would kind of be like, why? Why did you do that? Why not just make it like Fortnite Season 3? Like, you already did this. So, yeah, kind of agree with both of you. I think you both make decent points, but I'm just gonna have to say it should probably be case by case. It's not something that would always be bad, nor is it something that would always be good.
Fair enough. So are we both shamed or revered? That's the better question.
Oh, that's a good question.
Uh-oh, we lost Will. We lost Will.
Oh no. I think he shamed himself out of the call.
He said his internet went out, so
Oh no.
he's like, who won? Who won? Who won? He just keeps messaging me, who won? All right,
neither
I'm just
of
gonna
you
say
win.
me. I'm just gonna say me to him.
Okay, sure. Just tell
No,
him
no.
who won. It'll be fine.
Clearly, you agree with both of our points that they're not bad. I'm gonna make Will's face bigger so he's still part of this conversation, and you get the you get the ability to sign this one off though. So.
Oh, okay. What's my line?
I'll tell you in a second. So I just want to thank you for coming on with us. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, I enjoyed my time here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you on again sometime in the future.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
To sign this off, I'm going to say I'm Chris. You'll say I'm Spy. I'm going to pretend to be Will. I'll say I'm Will. And then I'll say we will see you, and you'll say on the next CHRILLCAST. All right?
Okay.
You got this?
I think so.
All right. As always, I'm Chris.
And I'm not Will.
That happens every single time somebody does this. Like, I'm not Will. I'm Will.
Yeah.
And we will see you
on the next CHRILLCAST.
Bye, guys.